Make buying a house efficient tips. Do as much of your own research before engaging a professional to report on the property, as you don't want to be wasting money on builders' reports and lawyers' fees. It is better to find a property that ticks most of what you want and need before engaging a builder's report. Ask yourself, why are they selling? Does the building look right? Because if it doesn't look right to you, then odds are it's not going to look right to an expert. Remember, structural integrity is of prime importance, and this includes, ideally, no illegal or unpermitted or non-code compliance alterations. It should have a code compliance certificate for all work or alterations if built or altered after the 1st of July 1992, or permits pre-1991. Visit the council and view the property basket or envelope for the address, and compare the plans, compliance certificates and permit descriptions to what you're looking at while walking around the property. Try and choose a house that looks as if it will pass a builder's inspection and has all the certificates, permits, etc. This will save your repair or other later expenses and make insuring less difficult. Property quick checklist. You need to think about how poor, good or great the house street appearance is. Is there any tagging on the street? You need to think about how poor, good or great the house looks from the street. Does the driveway have cracks, puddles? Are the footpaths cracked or puddled? Fences have any rot or damage? Trees, hedges, root damage? It can be expensive to remove a large tree from a property. Backyard drains and the ditches, are they all clean and working properly? Front yard, does it flood in the winter? Things, garage inside, what does that look like? Is it in good condition? The garage roof and guttering, the sleep out, are there any leaks and electrics involved? Does the swimming pool have any cracks? Is it fenced? The exterior of the house, is the cladding all sound? Window frames, are they all sound? Are they cracked, weathered? The chimney, does it have any cracks on it? This is particular because it can be very expensive to fix a chimney. The entry front, has it been repaired or split? This can be a sign that the house may have been broken into before. Are the door frames all sound, or have they been repaired? That can say something about the last inhabitants of the property. Doors, cupboards, do they all open and close properly? Is the floor level even? Floor coverings, you're looking for signs of mice and rodents. Walls, are they damaged? Have they been repaired? Are there any cracks? Do they show bubbles or mold? The toilet, does it have any bubbling around the base? Or is there any signs of rot? Pretty much the same for the shower, including, is it damp? That might be rotten. The electrics, does everything work? The hot water cylinder, does it have a cylinder wrap? What year was it made? How long is it going to be before you have to replace it? Tiled areas, are there any cracks? The ceilings, are there any cracks and bubbles? Bubbles in a ceiling can mean water leakage. The manhole, are there any cables exposed? Have rats been up there? Ceiling frames, roof leaks, insulation, wash house floor, the walls, the rear exit, has it been repaired? Does the place have smoke detectors, fans, air conditioning or heat pumps? Is the floor concrete, wood? Is it damaged? Do the walls and floor and timber have any borer in them? The taps, are they working? Is the plumbing copper or plastic under the house? Are the piles wooden or cement, or does it have a concrete floor, and is that all sound? Timber and rot and water leaks can be a major. The last thing that you really need to consider is, does the place show signs of drug use? Does it smell chemically? Does it smell musty? Are there any signs of rodents or insects or pet use? These are things you need to consider whilst looking at a property. The sale and purchase agreement. Never sign a sale and purchase agreement without first having obtained legal advice, as these are very complicated legal documents and you will be bound by the terms agreed to in the documentation. The vendor is the seller and you are the purchaser. Serious sneaky tip: you can withdraw or cancel your offer if the seller has not yet received it or has not yet accepted it. You do this by telling the agent or their agency or the seller that you wish to withdraw or cancel your offer. Further serious sneaky tip: you most likely will be required to place a deposit with your sale and purchase offer, anywhere between 5 to 20% of the purchase price. Try and negotiate the least amount, i.e., because if you fail to complete the purchase and are held or found to be at fault, you will lose or forfeit the deposit to the seller. This is another reason why you should always engage with or consult a lawyer before entering into any legal agreement. Be wary of high deposit requests. It may indicate an attempt to lock you into a sale that may have other issues. Consult a qualified lawyer. As stated previously, have the agent draw up any offer you wish to forward and take the document or have it forwarded to your lawyer. Only a qualified lawyer will have a thorough understanding of its effect. There is nothing to be saved by risking entering your own terms or entertaining the advice or opinion of friends and or even the seller's agent. Fools rush in. Get your lawyer to explain to you anything you might not understand or wish to address. A lot of folk think or run off on the assumption that if I make it subject to a builder's report I will be okay. But in the legal realm, this statement on its own is very hazy, as the seller could challenge you if you back out of the sale, for example, and say, well, your builder's report says this, but I have 2 builder's reports that say this. Take nothing for granted. Leave this part to the experts. There are a myriad of details that can be included and excluded in a residential sale and purchase real estate agreement, and only a qualified lawyer will know what this means and how it will affect you as a buyer. Only a qualified lawyer can advise you correctly. You can work with the real estate agent or seller on the rough details like price and settlement date, that is the date by which full payment will be made and on which you can move in. Keep in mind you need to give yourself time enough to do any inspections, arrange with furniture movers, etc. So make that date later rather than sooner, and make the agent aware that the date is only an estimate at this stage, as you will have to work with your lawyer on the finer details. Also, another thing to be aware of is if payment is not received by this date, more than likely you will be subject to a financial penalty, i.e. you may lose your deposit and also have to pay a further penalty for each day, week, month or year you fail to complete the sale until you complete the sale. This is another reason why you should never sign any residential sale and purchase agreement without consulting a lawyer. Remember, it is okay to assist and work with the real estate agent in preparing the agreement, as obviously the price you are offering will be required and the day on which you will pay will be required. Even other details will be required. But do not sign this agreement, as you will have to solidify the particulars with your lawyer, and your lawyer will help you sort these details. Further terms of sale. These are things you will need to discuss with your lawyer about having included in the sale and purchase agreement. If you want time to get a builder's report or any other expert report, then ask your lawyer to make this a further term of the sale. If an agent or seller asks you about conditions or further terms of sale, tell them you will have further terms, but you will be working with your lawyer on these. Further terms of sale, and these are fictional examples. I will give a few examples of possible further terms of sale here that you might want to ask your lawyer to include. Note these are loose terms only and are given purely as an example. They are not to be legally relied upon, as only a qualified lawyer will have the skill set to truly lay them down or insert them into the agreement worded correctly, so as they will have legal effect. If your offer is subject to getting finance approved, for example, you will want this stated as a further term of sale, and your lawyer will outline this with something such as, this agreement is conditional upon the purchaser obtaining finance from the bank that funds, mortgages on, before, or blah blah blah, month, year, etc, etc. Let's say you wanted to offer a certain amount on a house and you think the building looks structurally sound enough, as you have looked here and there and not seen anything major during your walkthrough with the real estate agent, but because you are careful and understand the benefits and value of having a tradesperson or expert's opinion before parting with some hard-earned dollars, then you might add a condition such as this to the sale and purchase agreement. This agreement is conditional on a satisfactory building and limb report, that satisfaction being in the sole judgment of the purchaser and the purchasers. The purchasers shall not be obliged to state any reason for this decision. Satisfaction of this condition will be conveyed to the vendor or vendor's solicitor or vendor's agent or the vendor's agency by 3 p.m. on one day, the 00 month of the year. The purchasers may or may not exercise this right. Another example of a property inspection further term might be something like this. This contract is also conditional upon the purchaser's further satisfactory inspection of the property, this satisfaction being in the sole judgment of the purchaser, and they shall not be obliged to state any reason for their decision. Satisfaction of this condition will be conveyed to the vendor or the vendor's agent or the vendor's agency or solicitor by 00 p.m. one day, 00 month, year. Another example, let's say there's a fencing covenant and you want that off the title, then your lawyer might make something like this a further term of sale. This agreement is conditional upon the vendor's solicitor removing the existing fencing covenant from the title on or before settlement. Another example, this time, let's say your lawyer wanted there to be no confusion as to what condition had priority. Where there is any conflict in the interpretation of these further terms of sale with the general conditions of sale, then the relevant conditions appearing in these further terms of sale shall prevail. Another example, let's say you haven't got a limb report yet, then your lawyer might put this in as a further term of sale. This agreement is conditional upon the purchaser approving all aspects of and incidental to the title to the property, including the form and existence of all easements, covenants, restrictions and interests affecting the same, as being satisfactory to the purchaser by 00 p.m. one day, 00 of month, 00 year. This condition is inserted for the sole benefit of the purchaser. Sneaky tip. Another sometimes useful term can be what some call a sunset clause. This type of further term can be useful if you want to know by a set time and day whether your offer has been accepted, and can also be useful if the agent has someone else also putting in an offer, because in my opinion sometimes an agent or seller might get more than one offer and sit on these for a while in case another offer turns up. So at least with this clause you will know that you don't have to contact anyone to withdraw your offer, rather you can just continue searching for another property or forward another offer. A sunset clause might look a little like this. The vendor may accept this offer by signing this agreement and delivering one original copy to the purchasers at any time before 00 p.m. one day, 00 month, year, 00, street, town, failing which the within offer is automatically withdrawn. So as you can see by the examples given, your lawyer will be able to tailor the further terms of sale and purchase agreement to suit your needs. Further, they will be able to word it correctly so you are able to get the things you want done prior to paying for the property. Settlement. Some things to be aware of with a sale and purchase agreement. Sometimes a vendor, seller, will strip out some of the warranties in the agreement. You need to ask your lawyer what possible reasons are there for this. It might very well be they are not applicable, but it could also indicate that there could be an issue with the property. A list of chattels, the things the house comes with, i.e. stoves, drapes, light fittings, washing machines, will also indicate the appliances and other items that are included in the purchase price. You should check this list is correct before signing the sale and purchase agreement, and make sure it says the washing machine as opposed to the washing machine taps. Check it thoroughly and be satisfied that it is what you expected. Remember, in most cases, a failure to settle, pay as per the agreed terms, most likely will result in a financial penalty being imposed. This will be at a rate stated on the face page of the document as interest rate for late settlement before signing. Discuss this rate with your lawyer, as it may be negotiable before signing. In general, all of the information is provided to give you an idea of how complicated a sale and purchase agreement can be. This is why you should always consult with a lawyer before signing. If you are a real estate agent or agency, this document was produced not to antagonize, rather it is my own personal critique.